Not too long ago, the owner of this black Mustang Mach 1 had joined the Mach 1 Facebook pages and was inquiring about an issue they had. They said they were happy they had the car, they just picked it up with 95,000 miles, but it had a transmission tail shaft leak, and they were just inquiring on what might be the problem. Now, before we get into the story, the problem is actually kind of interesting. I've actually experienced a similar problem with my Zinc Yellow O2 GT that has the same TR36 5-speed transmission. And the issue is actually not the seal itself, but it's the bushing in the tail shaft. And when that gets worn out, then while the car's driving, the drive shaft can move around a little bit and fluid can get past it. And so you're never really going to fix the problem just with a seal replacement. That's besides the point. But anyway, 1 minute you see the car, new owner enjoying the car, just asking questions. Next thing you know, the car was involved in a house fire. And so, unfortunately, the person who owned the car had a very unfortunate circumstance where the house caught on fire, and the Mach 1 was in the garage, and it got damaged in the fire. Now, luckily, he seemed to have survived. Hopefully, everybody got out okay. Obviously, material possessions aren't as important as people. But after the fire was out and everything was accounted for, the Mach 1 was then sold to the insurance company. And a lot of people on the Facebook page where he posted this said, hey, you need to buy the car back. You should fix it. It's not a lot of damage. They've seen worse before. People have had that happen. It was more like, smoke damage and stuff falling on it at this point is what it seemed like. But at this point, he was basically not interested in trying to do anything with the car. At this point, he was out his house, his whole life had changed, and I totally understand that. So I understand that when your life is turned upside down like that, sometimes the car has to take a back seat, and it was not the priority right now. And when people had asked him why he wasn't going to try to buy it back from the insurance for a low price, he was just saying, I have nowhere to put it. I'm going through this right now, and it's just not a good time to even think about that. And I totally respect that, and I'm sorry for him. I feel bad for them. Now, as we examine the pictures, it looks like the rear tire got flat in all this. I don't know if that was from the fire and the heat and everything, but the rest of the car looked pretty straight and looked like it was in pretty good condition, just had stuff fallen down on the car. And if you look inside, you can see it actually has the larger headrests, which would make this a interior upgrade package car. And so that would make this one of 1,367 black 2003 Mach 1s. You can see the pony badge on the fender, not the 40th badge that the 04 would have. So this is a 03 interior upgrade package black car, so that's the number for that. Now, out of the black Mach 1s that were 5 speeds, this is one of 1,338. Now, I'm assuming it's a 5-speed. The tail shaft seal leak could have been from an automatic. He didn't really say it was a stick shift. I'm assuming it was. If it was an automatic, a black 03 automatic Mach 1 would be one of 273, but I'm pretty sure it was the 5-speed manual car. But it was really sad to see this Mach 1 like this. You think of all the cars out there, why did it have to happen to a Mach 1, out of everything out there? And I know that there's incidents every day that do not involve these cars, but it just seems like the luck falls on it that it would be the cool car that gets destroyed. Now, he said that the car would go to auction and hopefully somebody would get it and fix it. It probably wouldn't take much to clean it up. And, he hopes the best for that case, and people were saying, oh, you can buy it back cheap. But there was actually someone else who chimed in and said, that's not always the case. They had this Mach 1, I believe it was black with the top painted silver, and they said that they really loved this car and enjoyed it until one day they got rear-ended in the car, and the insurance wanted $4,000 to buy it back. I think it was over $4,000. They said that's just not worth it to try to fix it. And they were able to save the wheels and a couple things and put them on this blue Mach 1 that they purchased. But that's not always the case of buying it pennies on the dollar. Sometimes the insurance wants a lot. In some circumstances, you could buy the car back from insurance for a few $100s, but if they're going to charge thousands of dollars to buy the car back, then it's just not worth it for someone to try to fix it and go through all that, and I totally understand that. Now, sadly, this competition orange Mustang Mach 1 was rear-ended by a drunk driver while it was parked on the side of the road. This is someone who I follow on Instagram, and they had taken care of this car, and they had been fixing it up. You can see they had been doing some body work and trying to get it ready to be repainted again and stuff, and unfortunately a drunk driver just hit this car while they had it parked on the side of the road, and they let the insurance go ahead and take this one as well. So a lot of these cars are, dropping off the radar. They're getting totaled. And I find that interesting because the Mach 1s are actually more rare than the Terminator Cobras. They made less of them than they did of the 03, 04 Cobras. But they're driven more because they were kind of a lesser expensive car, and I think they changed hands more like that, and the value had dropped a lot more than the Terminator Cobra's value dropped over the years, and so I think they were more used and purchased and worn out and daily driven and stuff like that, more likely. So these cars are actually pretty rare. Yet, over the last few days, I had been thinking a lot about it, and if we were to compare the 99 and 01 Cobras to the 03 and 04 Mach 1s, they're really similar cars. I mean, the 99 and 01 Cobras have the independent rear suspension, but they are very similar in power and what you get for the car, especially when the 03 Cobra came out and totally changed the performance aspect of the Mustang. And so it's funny, if you actually look at the numbers, in 99 they made 8,095 Cobras, and in 2001 they made 7,251 Cobras. And in 03 they made 9,652 Mach 1s, and 04 they made 7,182 Mach 1s. And so basically what I'm getting at here is they made similar production numbers of 03 and 04 Mach 1s as they did with the 99 and 01 Cobras. The numbers are very similar of production, plus the fact that in that time they made nearly 19,000, 20,000 03 04 Cobras that were sold at the same time. So Ford did really well by selling the Mach 1s, basically offering the 99 and 01 Cobra again in 03 and 04, while they were still putting out the new Terminator Cobras in 03 and 04. And so I had actually heard that the 3-valve Mustang platform was mostly funded by the pre-sales of the Mach 1 Mustang. And so that's actually a pretty cool story. So anyway, just wanted to make this video mostly about that black Mach 1, and then talk a little bit about the Mach 1 Mustangs, as I have a big love for these cars. I've owned 4 Mach 1s, and I currently still own 2 of those, and so they're just great cars all around, and a very wonderful car to have, similar to a 99 to 01 Cobra, and just something cool that Ford did in that time. So thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, and stay tuned for more Mustang content.